up, everyone? It is your girl GELBEAUTY 87 here, aka Grace, and it's time for another swatch party situation, honey. So I just got off work. It is like 3:30 in the morning, and I was like, we finna swatch some stuff. So I bought the Patch of Top eyeshadow palette and the toppers. I actually ended up buying it off his website because he had a 15% off coupon for it. So I went ahead and grabbed it, and then I bought this off Sephora. So I was waiting for this to show up, and it showed up today. So that's why we finally doing this video. So I'm going to compare it to the original one, and then in the video where I do the eye look and actually use the blushes on camera with you all, I'm going to do a get ready with me type situation. That's when we will do all comparisons to the eyeshadow palettes. I'm going to give comparisons to the blush palettes here. I got my first one. Y'all know the second one. I mean, I guess I should bring the second one in for that lighter pink shade, so I'll go grab it at the bathroom before my battery dies, because I know it likes to like play games with me and start flashing right after I, you know, like get into anything. So I got, she's giving the new one. I got the original one just to see how the pinks are going to compare. That's Honey Cash, but Cash with a K. If you all like storytime videos, you should watch her videos. She said she's going to come out with some more soon, so hopefully she will. But I got this one, I got this one, I got the toppers. I do have the Artist Couture topper in the shade Diamond Bronze to compare to the It's Giving Rich from Patch of Top, just to see if the colors are similar or not. I know Angel has more of them. I don't know how many more he has. I got that in a set when I bought a lip gloss, I believe. So let's get to it. I'm going to start off with the eyeshadow palette and get her out the way. So that way, when the battery gets ready to die, then I can go ahead and just go into the blush palettes, and I will have been able to go grab the one out the bathroom. I actually have the new Hourglass palette as well, so I'm going to swatch it at the end compared to the other ones to see if the bronzer and all that stuff is different. Because Dionluvsmakeup is the one that told me that it's supposed to have like a deeper bronzer in it, and the one for my skin tone was supposed to have like the darkest shades in it. You all know she's more like Karen Harris on the tan side, so she wouldn't necessarily need whatever. Is this the third one? Yeah, so this is Major Dimension Volume 3. I was trying to read the palette turned upside down. That's why I was having a struggle bus moment there. Struggle bus. Because for my eyes right now, though, believe it or not, this is a, like, I think it was a $4 eyeshadow palette. I got it from, it's one of those LA Girl 4-play pan palettes. Of course, y'all know I had to try the blue one, because it was the only one I felt like I would actually use and have the deeper shades in it. And I must say, I'm quite impressed with the eye look I got for $4, girl. So, I'll try to remember to link it down below. So this is what the packaging looks like. I love how he changes it up each time. So that way you'll know which one is which, but he still uses the same component, so I can appreciate that. And this is what she looks like on the inside. Now, of course, my concern with this is like, you know, it's going to be deep enough. But since he has a black in here this time, I know it'll be deep enough for me. That's always my concern with his, because as I'm about to show you in this original one, he always seems to not have a deep enough brown that works for some of my skin tones. So this is Major Dimensions 1. And the shimmers in here are not that great, so I love the fact that he changed the shimmers in Volume 2 to work better. So here's what it looks like. As you can see, my mirror is filthy because I love my Patch of Top eyeshadow palette. So this is what it looks like. And as you can see, that deep brown still isn't that deep. I feel like it's really similar to the deep brown. I mean, to the, I guess the cooler tone brown at the bottom. It's not giving that much. So let's get this swatching, girl, and see how many tones here are similar to the other ones, because that's what I'm mainly curious about. So I'm going to start with the darkest brown and just work my way forward. So this is the darkest brown in the, what is that palette? The Major Dimension Volume 3. And it's deepening up as I swatch it on my hand, but I feel like on the eyes it doesn't give that same effect, unfortunately. And this is on the warm tone part, so I'm taking the darkest brown in the warm tone part of Major Dimension 1 to start off with. And then I'm going to take the second darkest one that I feel like is really similar to this tone and swatch it. So these are the first 3 darkest browns. Remember, this is the original palette. So this, I'm sorry, this is the new palette. This is Major Dimension Volume 3. This is Major Dimensions Original, and this is Major Dimensions Original. So all of them actually look like they're a different tone, but I feel like once you put them on the eyes, they're going to look the same. I will try my theory and see. I might do a little battle of both these palettes, just so we can get a sense of if the browns are going to be similar on the eyes. Y'all know I love to do me an old school versus new school, so there might be a moment of that going on. Y'all, I forgot to bring a makeup remover wipe in here, child. What was I thinking? Guess we'll have to swatch some of these in my hands till this battery dies. So, okay, now let's move on to the lighter tone brown. So I'm going to start with the lightest, the second darkest brown in here. Like, y'all, my camera time making a fool of me. He's like, yeah, you said I was going to turn off. I'm waiting. Like, you full battery. Since you always complain. I'm like, And then I'm taking the, like, medium tone brown in the Major Dimension Volume 1 to give you a comparison. I'm hoping you can see him because I feel like you can't see it that well. So this is the medium tone brown in Major Dimensions Volume 1, and this is the medium tone brown in Major Dimensions Volume, what is it? Volume 3. So that's what they look like. I feel like it's actually looking deeper than I expected it to, but I'm partly feeling like that might be because I started with the darker shades and I'm working my way to the lighter shades, and since I didn't bring a makeup removal wipe, it's just swatching deeper than it should. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't think that might necessarily be the case either, so I don't know. Next, I'm gonna go into the second lighter shade, so I guess more like a tannish type shade. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch that one. So I'm swatching the tannish type shade in the Major Dimensions Volume 3, and then I'm swatching the tannish type shade in the original Major Dimension. So we'll see how that goes. So this is the tannish type shade in the Major Dimension Volume 3, and then this is the 1 for 1. So remember, we're always swatching the new palette first. This is the new palette. These two are the old palette. This is the new palette. This one is the old palette, and this one is the new palette, and this one is the old palette. So just in case you weren't keeping up, you're a quick reminder, girl. I'm not doing it the way I normally do, where I do the old one and then the new one. I'm doing the new one and then the old one. So let's get to the, well, I can't do the like super light shade. I can swatch the old one next to it. So here's the lightest shade in the palette before you get to like the bone colored whiteish shade that I can't use. So I guess this would be more like the light colored shade, and as you can see, the light colored shade and the the tannish colored shade in the original one are looking, personally to me, pretty similar. You can comment down below and tell me if that's how you feel, but I feel like they look really similar. Now the lightest shade in the original Patrick Ta one has shimmer in it, so I don't know if you want to count that, but I'm going to swatch the lightest shade from the Major Dimension Volume 3, and then I'm going to swatch the lightest shade from the original Major Dimension. So you can see like it has the sparkly glitter effect, and I don't know if you can see, but this is the one from the original Major Dimension, and then this is the one from Major Dimension Volume 3. So you can see they're both similar. I don't think there are any, well, obviously there's not going to be any tones in here to match the bottom row. I just want you to see the differences between the top row and the original palette, since they're both similar. Let's see how dark the cream is in the original versus this one too, since we're here, because there's a lighter cream and then there's a darker cream. So I want to swatch the darker cream in that one against the darker cream in the new palette. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm swatching the new palette first. So I'm going to try to put that toward like the side of my hand. And then I'm going to go ahead and swatch the darkest one in the original palette. I feel like they're looking pretty similar. It looks like there might, the new one might be a little more cool toned with its brown, or more neutral toned than the original one, which is quite warm. So here are the creams on the side. This is from Major Dimension Volume 3, and then this is from Major Dimension, the original. So I feel like they look somewhat similar, but if you could see it in person, to me this one gives a little bit more of like a neutral tone, whereas this one to me just clearly seems to be warm. So those are the two we had to compare when it comes to the eyeshadow palettes. Let me put this cute little thing away. My battery's trying to make a fool of me now since I don't talk so much crap about it. So it's like, yeah, we not dying now. Just because you was talking about us, we not dying. And it's like, fine, we like that. Doesn't make a difference to me. It's like, you gonna die eventually, so you love to disrespect me like this. So I put that away. Now let's get into these toppers, girl. So I'm trying to figure out where to put these toppers. I should probably just go ahead and get the other palette now, and then be mad when the battery dies like a few minutes after I go get it, and that'd be a whole thing. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and do that because I need to take these swatches off my hand. But let me show you them one last time, just in case you don't remember what went where and why, because I be talking really fast. So let me explain. So remember, Major Dimension Volume 3 is first, and then these two are Major Dimension Volume 1. Then it goes 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. And then it's 3, 1 again. So this is what we are working with, and then this is the cream from Volume 3, and this is the cream from Volume 1. So now we got that out the way. Since I don't have any toppers, it shouldn't take that long, but I wanted to make sure that you can clearly see the toppers on the back of my hand. So I'm gonna go get my makeup removal wipe. I'm gonna go get the other Patrick Ta face palette to see if the lighter pink is going to match the pink in the new one. And I'm excited to use the sparkly eyeshadows in that one as well. So I'll be right back. Okay, on to the sparkles. So this is the one I said that she's giving, it's giving rich. And then this one is called It's Giving Luxury. So as you can see through the size of them, you can see what colors they are, which I thought was a nice little touch that he added. So I was here for it. It was a vibe. But I feel like this one is really similar to the shade Diamond Bronze that I talked about. So I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. It has a cute little sifter situation going on. So you can open her up and sift you out a little bit of glitter as opposed to a whole bunch just everywhere. So I'm going to put a little bit in the top here. And it seems a little bit flaky like. So here's what it looks like on the inside. If you were curious. It's kind of giving a little bit of like flakiness vibes. So my friend was like, that's it when I showed it to her and it was coming out. But I'm like, you know, it's not. And then here's what the this is what Angel or Mac Daddy's looks like. So I don't feel like his looks as flaky. I feel like Patrick Ta really is giving like that flaky effect. So I'm going to start off with the Patrick Ta one. And swatch that across the hand. Oh, it doesn't give as much bronze as it looks like in the pan. Or in the container. Personally, or maybe I just didn't like hit out enough. But I'm like, I'm not seeing the bronze that I thought I was going to see when I put it on my hand. That I feel like I'm going to see when I swatch Angel. So that's interesting. Let me see. Come on, Angel, honey, what you got? And Angel's picks up more, it picks up easier. And yeah, it has more pigment to it. Because when you swatch Patrick's versus Angel's, it is not giving the same amount of pigment like, at all. His is quite sheer. So this one is Mac Daddy's, as you can clearly see. And Patrick Ta is a little bit more of that topper iridescent type vibe. So I think I actually like Angel's better. Because I feel like I would have to put Patrick Ta's on top of a product in order to get like the true essence of like the colors underneath. Because in the packaging, like I said, to me it looks like more champagne-y, bronzy. But like when you swatch it on the hand, it's not really giving that. So I personally pick Angels if I had to pick. Plus I feel like Angels are more affordable if I remember correctly. So I would pick the Artist Couture over this one. Just because it's giving that iridescent situation that like topper eyeshadows give. And I'm a little disappointed by it. Because it doesn't have that pigmentation underneath that the Artist Couture. So that's just my thought on these. Sorry y'all, it fell underneath the chairs. I had to bend all the way down to pick it up. It was really disrespectful. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on these. I'm kind of disappointed, you know, that it's just like giving a little bit of a champagne moment. But I mean, like, I guess if you're one who likes a neutral eye and you just want an extra pop on the lid, this would be for you. But just because that's what it's giving, it's not necessarily for me. But I'm gonna swatch the other one called It's Giving Luxury. And so you can see what that one looks like as well. And then we're going to move on. But I probably won't use these in the eye looks now that I know that it's not giving like I thought it was going to be giving. It's not giving that. So, you know, hopefully this other one I'm about to use now will give more of that. Or maybe if you put it on top of like a glitter glue, it'll stick better and give more effect. Because remember, I am just swatching this on my natural hand. It's not with, you know, glitter glue or anything. Maybe I should swatch with some glitter glue and maybe that'll make me like it a little bit better. Because right now I'm just like, it just looks like flaky pieces of glitter that ain't doing much. Because this is the other one. I feel like I'll like this one better. So maybe I shouldn't have picked up the champagne when I should have just got that one. Because that one's definitely giving me what I'm looking for. I feel like if I put this on top of a silver eyeshadow, honey, yes. So it's Luxury is the one for me. This is giving rich is not for me. But it's giving luxury, yes, honey. It's giving me luxury. And I'm here for it. It's the whole vibe. Yes. So we're going to use this Giving Luxury for sure. And I'm happy to have that one. But this, she's giving rich. It's not, you know, it's not giving me any. Patrick, honey, is not giving me any. But the silver one is where it's at, as you just saw based upon the swatches. If you like a more subtle approach, then you probably like the champagne one. I'll try to give it the benefit of doubt and try it out in an eye look. So basically, I'll probably use that one as my shimmer for one of the eye looks. When it comes to the old school versus new school with the original Patrick Ta palette versus the new one. And then I will just top both the eyes with each one of the shimmers just so you can see what they look like. And we can still be using majority new products, but I'm right now, no, it's not. Now let's get into this beauty because I want to get into the shimmers in here. Look at this packaging, honey. We must have gave Patrick some extra coins last year when we was buying stuff or something. He got a whole bunch of coins this year from them blushes, so he had money for these other. And look how sparkly it is. Like, the sparkle was coming off of it before I even opened it. Like, I showed it to my friends. She's like, oh, look how sparkly it is. I was like, I know, right? The sparkle is just popping off everywhere. So, honey, I have to swatch these. So, I'm going to do the two at the bottom now. The silver one and the more rose goldish topper S one. But I'm loving the base on this one right here, if you can see. Like, yes, I feel like on top of that silver that I just showed you, honey, yes. So I swatched the two at the bottom. I'm loving this formulation. I hope he does this in the future in actual like eyeshadow palettes as a shimmer, because honey, it's giving. So this is the very silver one at the bottom I showed you, and this was the one next to the silver that's giving a more rose gold effect. So I'm liking both those. Let's see how this top looks, because it's giving a very ethereal moment. And yes, oh honey, yes, Patrick. Yes, Patrick, honey. Okay. You redeemed yourself with this, because that it's giving rich. It was not, no. But look at these. Look at the girl. And it got the nerve to have a shift in this one at the bottom here. So the more, I guess, pinkier one, because this, to me, this seems like more of a, what do they call it? Ethereal moment with like the pinkish purple shift to it. So this one is the one that shifts. That's the one you saw on the very bottom of my hand. And then this one is that more ethereal looking one. Honey, every color that's in here, it's giving. Look at that. Look at it, honey. Look at it. So I mean, yes to all the shimmery goodness that is in here. I'm here for it. It's a vibe. I love it. All the shimmery goodness needs to be mine. And I'm so glad I got this face out. Honey, yes. Now I'm going to take all this off, but you can look at how sparkly it is again. So it's looking better in this lighting. So my lights have fallen down in front of me and I didn't pull them up. So it's looking better now that I've turned it this way. Okay. All that sparkliness is nice. It's still not giving what the Artist Couture one is, which is what I prefer. So I'm liking the Artist Couture one better. But that silver, honey, and when I put that silver on top of this one, what will you tell me? Nothing. That's what you will tell me. You know what you're going to tell me? Nothing. Like I just said, no. You will tell me nothing. I know my hand will be sparkly the rest of the time, so I probably should have did the blushes first and then the eyeshadows. But I was too excited for the eyeshadows, so we weren't missing out. I'm sorry. What I was not going to do was miss out on those just because I needed to do the other thing first before I'm doing it. I'm sorry. We were not doing it. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to adjust the lights to where they'll like still give somewhat on me, because I feel weird not having that much light, but the light is acting up right now, so I'm having to adjust. Hold please. Okay, so onto the blushes. These gorgeous things right here. So I'm going to show you the original blush palette that started it all, that we all were obsessed and loved and enraptured with. The top of mine broke up the little plastic thing, so pay it no mind. But as you can see, there's kind of a brightish pink in here. So I basically want to compare all the bright pinks he has to other stuff. So here's what it looks like. I feel like it's a cross between the darkest one in this palette and the lighter one in this palette, which is good because that means they don't look the same. So we're going to start off by swatching that one. I'm trying to remember, what is the name of that one? That one's called She's a Doll. So we're going to swatch She's a Doll. I'll start with the cream of She's a Doll. So I'm going to start with all the creams of them, and then I'm going to do all the powders of them last. So I'm starting off with the old palette first like I normally do. And then we're going to go into the new palette. So we're doing all the old palettes of the cream, and then we're going to do all the new palettes of the cream. And then I'll do the newest compact She's Giving last on its own to the other pinks. Okay, so what is the name of these two pinks? So one is called Giving I Need Her, and then Giving Main Character. I don't know which one's supposed to be which. I'm assuming the dark one is Giving Main Character. Don't quote me though. Oh, it's quite sheer and balmy. Like, I don't really feel like it's giving that much pigmentation, the lighter one. So just FYI, for my skin tone, don't expect for much pigmentation. But if you're my skin tone, you probably shouldn't be trying to put this on. But I like the fact that he split it up this time, so that way people with lighter skin tones can have a color, people with deeper skin tones can have a color, and then, you know, like, people that are tan will have a color as well, because it's like they can use a like lighter hand with the powder and make it work. And so can people of deeper skin tone, of lighter skin tones than tan, because, you know, that's the way they did it when they got the first palette. So anyway, so this is She's a Doll. This is, I'm assuming this is I think it's called She's Giving I Need Her or something like that. And then this one is Main Character Energy. Or I just decided that's it. I don't actually know if I'm right or not, but you know. So this is what we're working with. As you can see, like I said, it's hardly giving any pigmentation. So if you're my skin tone, you don't have to worry about that, because, you know, it's not give it wasn't made for us anyway. Plus the powder for that is way too light, what you about to see right now. So I'm going to swatch the powder from She's a Doll, and then this powder from the two new ones, which I have just decided the names of, because I'm not sure which one is supposed to be for which eye. I haven't swatched this palette before I took my video, but I did what I had to do because it literally showed up right when I had to leave to go to work. Like literally I think 15 minutes before I was supposed to leave. So I was like, I don't have time to do sexy videos. So it's like, it's going to have swatches in my video and I'm going to be mad. But you know, I guess it's going to have to be okay. Or just swatches in my picture, because I don't usually do videos on stuff like this. But I might if people want comparisons of the blush, and y'all seem to really like my comparison videos. So anyway, so this is main character energy. This is She's Giving, I Need Her. And then this is She's a Doll. So remember, this is the cream that goes with this one. This is the cream that goes with the middle one. And this is the cream that goes with the deeper one. I like the two deeper tones, but obviously I would, because they're going to work better for my skin tone. So those are my personal favorites to start off with. Now we're going to get into the, I guess I should have swatched it differently, so that way I could have just wiped off the lighter one at the end, because now I'm going to have to re-swatch She's a Doll to go with the deeper one. But, you know, that's cool. So we will go back to that palette in a second. I want to swatch the lighter pink and the Patrick Tattoo that was disappointing to a lot of us. So we're going to swatch this shade right here, and that one is called Giving Flirty. So let's get into She's Giving Flirty, and then we'll compare it to the lighter one. So this one shouldn't take that long, because I don't have a whole lot of light ones, because obviously those won't work for my skin tone. But I know everybody that's watching me isn't necessarily my skin tone. Plus I just want you to see what the colors look like. So I'm just go ahead and swatch both of these at the same time, like the creams and the powder at the same time. I only did the other one because it was more than one, and even though I knew they weren't going to match, since it was here, we were here, everyone was here, you know, I just did it. Yeah, so swatch her on out, honey. Let's swatch her on out. So I feel like there's more of a blue base undertone to the new one that he came out with this year. This one right here. So this is the cream from the second palette. And then this is the new palette. This is the powder from the second palette. And then this is the new palette. So here's what both of them look like. As you can see, they look quite ashy on me. But I do like the undertone of the powder. I like those more blue-based pinks, if you will. So I'm really liking the undertone of that one. I feel like if I mixed it with the darker one, it would still look pretty nice on someone my skin tone. Now, obviously, I'm never going to use this cream. So, you know, that's a lost cause. But the rest of it is nice. I wish he had it where you could pop out and then you could buy, like, individual ones to pop in. Because it might be good for makeup artists too who want to like buy his stuff, but it's like they need to be able to interchange it for whatever client they need to work on at the time. Maybe he should work on that, especially since he is a working makeup artist and he knows more about that than I would. It's just a suggestion, Patrick, honey, okay? You don't have to actually pay me any attention, alright? Alright. Think he's my age. Okay, so we're gonna get into the last one, the deeper one, and then I'm going to swatch the She's Giving, She's a Doll, and main character, giving main character energy, or giving main character, because I think that's what it's actually called. I just added the energy part because, you know, why not? So as you can see, these this looks like a darker version. This looks like a dark girl friendly version of this pink right here, if you don't notice. So to me, this one he made for people my skin tone. But the thing is, since it's bigger than the one that's in the holiday palette, it's like I can't pop this out and put it there, because I really would just prefer to pop it out and put it in there. And then this would be a palette made for like my skin tone completely. But this is what they look like side by side. And then you can see how nicely these flow together, because both of these were made for tan to deeper skin tones, in my personal opinion. But if you have a lighter skin tone, you can always use the light hand. So I'm going to start off with She's a Doll, with She's Giving, and then we'll end with the giving main character. So I'm going to swatch them in that order. Remember, it's She's a Doll, then it's She's Giving, and then it's main character energy. So that's how I'm swatching now. And I'm starting with all the creams first, and then I'm going to go into the powders last. So swatch this one again. Even though I feel like this one is a little bit lighter, a little bit sheerer than the other formulas in the past. So I don't know why he didn't make it as opaque. It's giving more of a glossy vibe than a more opaque vibe as I'm used to it. So that's interesting to me. That's the first thing I'm noticing. But you know, otherwise, it's cool. It's cool or whatever. Wipe my fingers off and then wipe them on my pants so I can dry them for these powders. So again, she's a doll for the powder. Then she's giving for the powder. And then main character, giving main character last. And all these pinks have different undertones, but I feel like all these pink undertones look pretty on me, these darker ones, so I'm here for it. So this is She's a Doll. This is, sorry, I'm hoping you can see the colors okay. This is She's a Doll. This is She's Giving, and this is Giving Main Character. She's a Doll, She's Giving main character. So I like all those tones. I feel like they're gonna look amazing on me. So we just did this cute little swatch party for you because I don't have time to actually swatch all these on my face. I'll try to do swatches of them on my face and see if I can get like a reel or something put up, or YouTube shorts or something, just swatching the colors on some of my skin tone for people to see. If I don't get a chance to make a video, y'all know I'm gonna make a video on this little palette though, just I have to. She's gorgeous. But that's all the Patrick Ta stuff I had to talk about for the people who are interested in the Patrick Ta stuff. If you don't care about the hourglass, girl, I don't blame you. It's fine, because from what I hear, this palette still ain't hitting for dark skin tones after they've been told 3,242 times. And you know, yeah, I just But let's get into it. So I have the one from, I think this is last year. And then I have this one. So this was the first one that they were somewhat catering to deeper skin tones. This is the second one that's supposed to be a little bit better for deeper skin tones, because I think they have three now. And then this is the newest one that they have. So I know Dion gonna watch this video like, you told me you wasn't buying that. Like, I only bought it because you told me it was deeper bronzers in it. Okay, ma'am? So I'm gonna blame this one on you. So this is what the packaging looks like. It has a snake on it. I wasn't crazy about this packaging. I honestly like the jellyfish and the owl better. I think those are the prettier ones. So I was just kind of like, oh, okay. But this is the one that's supposed to have the most new shades in the palette, I'm told. Y'all know I don't really rock with hourglass like that, so I don't know which ones are supposed to necessarily be new and which ones aren't. And since all their powders look the same to me, it just looked the same as everything else. Like, I'm about to show you, like, see, I feel like the highlighter looks the same as the other one in here. I mean, that bottom blush, I feel like both of those look the same, so I don't know what's supposed to be new about it. The bronzer is the only thing that actually looks deeper than it normally does in this one, because this is what the bronzer in this palette, and it's like where there's no depth in it, and I still feel like there's not enough depth in the one they made, but whatever. So I'm going to swatch all these against each other, but I just want you to see what they look like individually. So next we have the one from last year. I feel like it was last year, don't quote me. So here's what both of them look like. Again, the bronzer in here looks like it's the same shade as that one. So when did you make a deeper bronzer? Then the highlighters in here, like the highlighters look the same. It just looks like they changed the places they put them in. The blushes look somewhat similar, because like this orangey blush right here looks similar to this one at the bottom. So I'm like, I'm not seeing a whole lot of difference. And that's why I would be confused why people buy these every year. But I guess if this is what you mainly use for powder, it would make sense, because every year around the holiday you should be able to, like, you know, get another one. Of course it wants to start blinking now that the hourglass has come out, but you know, that's fine. I'm gonna go get a battery and then we're gonna start swatching these hourglass palettes. So yeah, be right back. Okay, y'all, so let's get into these palettes. So I'm going to swatch them in order they came out with. So this one came out first, then there was this one, and of course the new one. So let me see, what do I want to start off with, because it's like 2 and 3 different palettes on my shelf. I don't know. I guess I can start off with some blushes, and then we can end on the bronzer, which is my biggest concern, because I'm like, y'all known for not being inclusive with bronzers, so I want to hit that one up last. So I'm going to do the blushes, then I'll do the highlighter, and then we'll do the bronzer last. So I'm going to start off with the one that looks similar to this shade right here. So in the first palette, that would be, actually, you know what? It actually doesn't look similar to this one. So how about that? So I'm going to start off with the, I guess, berry toned one in here, because it looks similar to this kind of wannabe berry tone one here at the bottom and the third one. So let's swatch both those side by side. And I'm trying to figure out what video I'm going to put this in, because I guess I can put them both in the Patrick Ty video. I don't know. I honestly just don't want to make a separate video for Hourglass. That's why they're getting added to this Patrick Ty video. That's why they're probably going to get added to another video, because I just don't want to give that type of energy to people. It took 500 years to make stuff for me. The only reason they made it for me is because the people they're actually making it for told them that they won't stop buying it till they made it for more people besides, you know, just them. So, fact they had to tell you that and literally stop giving you your money for you to include everybody is a problem for me. So, but I keep trying to get the benefit of the doubt, which is why I keep buying them, hoping for better, and still feeling like I don't get it. So let's see if I got it this time. I'm feeling like the answer is no. So this is the berry tone one from the first marble palette I showed you, and this is the swatch from the new third one. So it's giving more of a corally peachy vibe as opposed to a berry tone vibe, which, you know, Hourglass is known for just giving a berry tone one to black women, and then they're supposed to be excited, which I'm not. By the way, I'm not. But since it's giving more that corally vibe, now I kind of want to swatch this orange one here from the second palette, which is the tiger one, and see how it looks. So we're going to go ahead and do that now, just to see how the coloring differs. Okay, so this one is giving definitely a more orangey tone vibe. So all of them are actually giving a different tone vibe. And is that even supposed to be a blush? That might supposed to be a highlighter. Let me see. I think that's number 3. Blush, burnish, glow. So yeah, that's a blush. So all 3 different blushes that work nicely for people my skin tones. Okay. So let's get into another shade. So I want to, what else do I want to swatch that I feel like looks similar to what's already on my hand? So I guess I'll swatch this shade right here. And since it's marbled, I guess it'll come out different each time depending on what area I swatch. But this is that marble tone shade. And again, it still doesn't look similar to anything on my hand. At best, it looks close to this shade right here, the more corally one that I swatched. But yeah. Okay, so that's the first set of blushes. I don't think there are any other blushes in here that look similar, but I'll just swatch this blush right here really quick, and then I'll go ahead and swatch this blush in the new palette to see how similar they are, because I want to see if there are any similarities, but I feel like there shouldn't be, or there couldn't be, because it's like they don't really cater to African American skin tones. So it's gonna be hard for you to have repeat shades on my end, just because, you know, you don't really cater to me to begin with. So it's hard to repeat something that you never made. Although this one is looking to me really similar to this burnish glow shade. Let's see if that's supposed to be a new one or if it's supposed to be the same one. Oh, it's called Solar wait, no. It's called, what is this called? That one right there is number 4, and it's called Sunbeam. But Sunbeam, in my personal opinion, is looking really similar to, what was the name of this shade? Burnish Glow, number 3 right here. So personally, I feel like those are similar, and it's not enough to call it different. There might be a slight bit more orangey-ish to this one than it is to this one, like a lighter orange, and this seems to be a little bit more burnt orange, but otherwise they look similar enough to me to where if you're trying to call it a new shade, I wouldn't call it a new shade. I'd be like, it looks similar to that other shade. But you know, those, I think those are all the blushes that are in here. Yeah, those are pretty much all the blushes that are in here. So let's move on to the highlighters. Like, y'all, my fingers are just stained with pink, because I've been swatching so much stuff. Just so much stuff. Okay, so is this giant one a highlighter? I think this will be a face powder. Oh, that's the finishing powder and radiant. Okay, so we're going to use this highlighter right here. It's called Solar Strobe Light. This is in the first palette. And I will say I do like their highlighters, but I'm like, I want to be able to do a full face of stuff with your brand, and it's not giving that. So then there's the, what is this? number 3, no, number 4. So there's the metallic strobe powder in Divine Strobe Light. That's in the second palette I have the tiger on it. So I'm gonna swatch that against the first one. And it looks a little more champagne than the other one. One looks more metallic and one looks more, I guess, glittery, if you will. And I need to find the highlighter in this one. Number 3 is Infinite Strobe Light, which is this one right here. So we're going to swatch it and see what's the difference between the other two I just swatched. So here's the 3 different highlighters. I feel like the new one is the only one I see a difference in tone in. I feel like it's deeper than the other two, because the other two to me look pretty similar. This seems to be the deepest one. So I'm not going to front. I do like their highlighters. That's like my favorite thing when it comes to them. I'm not really concerned about their blushes because I feel like it doesn't give enough wash of color. I'm one of those people who likes a lot of blush, so it's not, their blushes don't really impress me that much because it's like I know I'm not going to get that pigmentation that I want when it comes to their blushes. But I mean, like, I understand that that's not necessarily what their brand is made for, so I don't trip on it too hard because I don't really use their brushes anyway. So when I reach for this palette, I usually reach for the highlighter. You notice, like, the highlighter is the only thing that has a dent in it out of all the ones I own. And the second one, I don't even, like, really reach into at all. So it's like I keep trying to hope for the bronzer to be better, and like we about to come to that moment of truth now because that's the last thing I have to swatch. I guess I could swatch the face powders, but I think there's only one face powder. The Finishing Translucent Light powder is in here supposedly, but I'm like, where? Or is this supposed to be the finishing powder right here? Because I thought that was supposed to be the bronzer, so now I'm just confused. Because that's not incandescent light. There's nothing light about this. So, but maybe it has to be because the rest of these just say they're bronzers and stuff. So, okay, that's weird. Yeah, so I'm going to swatch the powders, I guess. The powder that I thought was a bronzer. Don't know how to feel about that. It's a nice powder that matches my skin nicely. I'm happy about that. And then this is the finishing powder in Radiant Light that doesn't really work for my skin tone, but I'll go ahead and swatch it since it's supposed to be in there. I think this was supposed to be more for like when they first started trying to cater to tan and deep, and it personally to me caters more to tan because as you can see it's quite lighter, but this one actually matches my skin tone nicely. So let's see. Finishing powder in Radiant Light is supposed to be in here as well. So that's the first one in the pan. So here are all the finishing powders. This is the finishing powder that I feel like works best for someone my skin tone. And then they have this finishing powder. I think this is one that was Radiant Light, the second one. And then I think the third one is the same one in Radiant Light. So they didn't like switch it up, or is it Translucent Light or something? I forgot. So yeah, Radiant Light is the second one I swatched. This one right here. And then the third one I swatched was Radiant Light. So these two are repeat shades in the palette. If you're my skin tone, if you have like this marble tone palette, you already have it in a bigger size. It's a nice enough powder, but you know, I don't feel like it's still necessarily working for someone my skin tone. I feel like it's better for a tan skin tone. So just keep that in mind. The only one that works nicely for my skin tone is the one from the Tiger palette that I just showed you, because you clearly saw it meshing into my skin quite nicely. So I'm going to have to actually use that when I get home and try it out again. But let's get to the bronzer. So this is supposed to be bronzer now, Solar Bronze, which to me just looks really similar to the finishing powder. So that's why I was confused and thought it was a finishing powder and thought they had put this bronzer in here before. But I'm going to swatch them side by side. So I'm swatching the Solar, is it Solar Bronze? That's supposed to be the bronzer now. I'm swatching the Transcendent Light shade. That's supposed to be like a finishing powder for my skin tone. That's it right there. Because I feel like this bronzer looks like really similar to that, which is weird because it's supposed to be a bronzer. Okay, so the bronzer has like a yellowish undertone to it, but the fact that the bronzer matches my skin tone means it's not going to do what it's supposed to do in bronze. So is this really for a deep skin tone if it's matching the face powder? And matter of fact, I feel like it's a little bit lighter than the face powder because I feel like it's harder to see. So I feel like you'd have to put this over a cream base that's pretty dark in order to have the color show up at all. And you know, if you're supposed to be going for a natural effect, are you really going to get that if you have to put a cream so deep that you can actually pick up the color of the powder? So I still feel like this bronzer is made for a tan person. like Dionluvsmakeup could probably bronze with this better than I could. It's not giving bronzer at all. And then I'll swatch the bronzer from this palette right here, which is supposed to be this shade right here called Radiant Bronze Light, which if it's called light in a bronzer and you're saying it's supposed to be for a deep person, is it really? Because to me the answer is no. So that's it down there, that ashy-ish shade that was in the palette is supposed to be for deeper skin tones. So this is, I guess, an improvement from this bronzer right here that they were saying was supposed to bronze me. But either way, the face powder is still darker than the bronzer that's supposed to bronze my face. So improvements, we definitely need to make a few. But I guess I should be glad we came farther than where we used to be. So I guess I can just leave that there. I don't... Because I feel like y'all already know my thoughts just by me going, and making that face like, Yep, so those are all the things we're going to be swatching today, girl. I'm going to take some, look at me, like sexy pictures, all this Patrick Ta stuff, because I'm excited, like a little lame. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, y'all at dimes, you can comment down below and tell me what you want to see in the next video, as far as all this Patrick Ta stuff goes and how I use it. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.